Hey man,
Hey bro, how are you?
good man. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good. Well, thank you for jumping on, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Is the setup okay? Like it's not too bright?
Yeah, no, it's good. I can see you clearly. Should be good.
Hey, man. How you been?
Yeah, good. Day off work today, so I can't complain. Went to the gym this morning and just cruising for the rest of the day.
Nice man, nice. What do you do for work?
At the moment, I just work in retail, in the bakery at Woolworths. So yeah, that's not too bad. It like pays the bills for now. So
That's all that
slowly
matters.
trying to migrate my way out of it.
Yeah, nice. And that's all that matters as long as it pays the bills.
Yeah, exactly. What about yourself? How was your day been?
Good man. I actually took the day off today as well. So I work in IT actually.
Yeah.
So I work in like the asset management. So just looking after like the actual systems that record all the software finance, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's an interesting job to have.
Yeah, it's not what you expect like a really big a really big guy to have, you know. I get a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of when I'm walking around the office and stuff, but yeah, like it's pretty good. Like it's always challenging, you know, and whatnot. So I can't complain too.
That's the main thing. As long as you enjoy it, like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what you do, as long as you pay your bills and you enjoy what you're doing and you love it.
Like there's always going to be days where like I absolutely hate it, but
Yeah.
there's also days where it's really good and challenging, and I feel accomplished and whatnot. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, firstly, obviously we're going to talk about your current prep and everything that's going on, a part of the prep talk series. But I just wanted to kind of get some backstory because I'm not too sure if you've competed before or what's the go because you've got a really solid physique. Like you've definitely, in my opinion, built a great foundation, and I'm really, excited to see you on stage because, like I said, for me, it's my first time seeing you. So
Yeah,
just for anybody listening,
yeah, for sure. So I started training, you know, back when I was at uni, maybe 2013, 2014.
yeah,
As things do, one thing led to another, started I wanted to compete. So then I did like a natural show. Then that kind of progressed into IFBB. That point in time, I didn't know anything about competing or anything or training or anything really. So I just
yeah,
did everything myself, and it kind of always fails. But it's a learning process, like an
definitely.
evolution. Um, so that's where I kind of started, and then I kind of got into like the classic physique. Really kind of like that era and like what that kind of brought new to like the bodybuilding world in like the 2016 era
Yeah,
time. So I competed in New Zealand a couple of times, and then 2019 I did the New South Wales and the Arnold's for classic, and then after that I kind of just I'm an all or nothing type of personality. So I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to let my body just do what it wants to do. I'm going to
yeah,
give it everything I got, and then I just blew up basically, and I just put on like a lot of quality size since then, but I've kept my waist really small. That's
yeah,
probably
yeah, definitely.
like one of the biggest things that like I've tried to prioritize and still somewhat have like a classic shape, but just like I just want to be freaky. I want people to be
Yeah.
like what the fuck, like you know what I mean? Like that's kind of where I'm at. So my last show, I did a NABBA show. I was meant to do it with my wife, but then she fell pregnant. So
Well, congratulations on that.
yeah, so we were going to do that, and then I did that, and then I did like an ABF show, which is just a smaller kind of like just a smaller federation one, just because I like competing.
Mhm.
I competed at 113 kilo. That was May 2021, and then the pandemic and all that just hit.
Yeah, kind of canceled everything a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so then it's just been and then just I was working with Colombo from America for
Yeah.
that show, and learn a lot from that of what not to do. And then yeah, then I'm just kind of just doing my own thing for a bit, kind of learning my body a bit more because I'm a type 1 diabetic. I
Okay.
have been for majority of my life. And it's a whole nother level of assistance and what you need to look out for than for someone that who hasn't got it.
Well, yeah,
It
most definitely.
it's just a whole nother ball game of just constantly overwatching things and manipulating things. And so yeah, uh, end of last year, I hired a coach from UK.
Yeah.
I won't say any names. I said, look, I'm a diabetic. I get the same old, yep, it's sweet, man, it's sweet, I've got you covered. One thing led into another, and he actually put me into coma.
Wow.
I had a seizure. I dislocated both shoulders. When I was having the seizure, it dislocated. It completely ruptured. It completely destroyed my left shoulder. So I had a shoulder reconstruction about 14 months ago. And then I was just absolutely shattered. So I've never really trusted anyone since then. And then I thought, who if I want to take this as far as I can, who's the one person that knows diabetes and knows, what to do? And that's where I ended up with Adam O'Mackey. So
Yeah. Yeah. He
so
knows
yeah,
his stuff.
he's very good, especially with the diabetes thing. And that was the main thing, like I need someone that knows and understands. It's easy for someone to say, yeah, like I know what to do, or like it's not.
Yeah.
It's really not. Like there's so many ins and outs of it, and it's great to have someone like him on my team and be able to just watch out and tell me, hey, just watch out for this, or yeah, we need to adjust this. And it's not just me following his lead, it's a teamwork kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I know my body very, very well in terms of like my diabetes and what things do. If I change one thing, I know exactly what's going to happen, and vice versa. So that input that I have with him is really, really good. So yeah, that's
That's
kind of
that's
that's kind of me wrapped up in a bit of
yeah,
that.
that's a lot to kind of like decompact it in a short time. But that's crazy. Like I think it's really important, and it's good to hear that you. And I think it shows the importance of educating yourself as a coach. Sometimes you can feel like certain things, or maybe you think that, oh, just because you're diabetic or just because you have this health issue, that maybe after a little bit of research I can know what to do or how to help. But that's not always the case, because there is a difference of actually knowing the science behind it and the medical expertise. So it's good that you've actually been able to find a coach that has that knowledge, has that education, and then you can, knowing your body yourself and knowing who you are and knowing all the things because you've experienced it, being able to kind of bounce things back and forth with him, because at least he also then has that bodybuilding expertise behind it to then help you navigate what you want to do and achieve your goals.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And that's basically what it's all about. It's just that input and having just the guidance and just being having the confidence basically that I know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing for my diabetes and whatnot. And all my blood work is the best it's ever been for this prep. So I mean, like I just can't
Just smooth sailing.
smooth sailing. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So on the shoulder rupture, so were you worried that it would never kind of recover? Like how did that whole process go? Because you say it was 14 months ago, so obviously you still had a decent enough time.
So it happened just before my 26th birthday.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. I'm 27 now. I said 22, my 26th birthday, and a month before my daughter was due. So you can imagine my wife just being absolutely like just shattered and just,
Yeah.
it was crazy time for her, and you just don't realize how much she went through just because of the mistake that I made and this stupid coach made. It's just horrific. But so huge shout out to my wife. She's absolutely amazing and always supports, and just the things that she goes through just so I can be at my best. I wouldn't be where I am without her at all, 100%. But yeah, it's like, so I had the rupture, and basically I didn't really know like how to handle it. I was just upset and just sad, but at the same time I was I was pretty determined that I'm gonna make this work. And so the surgeon operated me 2 weeks before my daughter was due. I couldn't even hold my daughter when she was born because my shoulder was in a sling. My right shoulder still comes out today.
Okay.
But it is what it is. I just make it work. But he told me, look, you've got a full year of recovery. And I said, Doc, no, sorry.
Not happening.
I I had the surgery on the Saturday. I took all my meals into the surgery. I
Yeah.
ate all my meals like everything. I didn't skip a beat. The following Monday, I took the Sunday off. Monday, I went and trained legs, quads. I had the sling on, still high on all the meds and
Yeah.
whatnot. Um, I, I, I just continued just like it was just business as usual. Still pushing. I still trained to failure. Still do everything right. Um, and then I started training upper body about a week later, only on the right side.
Yeah.
And you're meant to be in the sling for like 12 weeks. I took the sling off after 2 weeks. 4 weeks, I started moving it. By the 10th week, the doctor said, mate, I don't know what you've done, but it's pretty much healed. So then
Wow.
that was my thumbs up, and I just went full
Yeah,
steam.
yeah, yeah.
I
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really
so
cool. It
I'm
kind of
still
shows like some people would use that opportunity as like just kind of give up or let it kind of take over and step away. But you really kind of showed that you stuck to your guns, stuck to your passion, put the work in, still kind of was obviously being a bit cautious, but doing what you think you need to do. And it ended up, working in your favor because it ended up probably helping healed it.
100%, man. Like you, everyone who competes probably has like the same mentality of
Yeah,
like love bodybuilding. Like I can't express how much I love bodybuilding. Like what it's done for me, how it's helped me create who I am today, and it's not something that I'm just ever going to give up. But I've just used that to always push past things and find a different way. If I can't do something, I'm going to find a way, and then I'm going to perfect it, and then that's going to make me better than where I was if I had stayed on that path. So I always try to
100%.
positive outcome from it. So yeah, like I might not be able to shoulder press, or I might not be able to bench, or incline bench, 4.5 plates for sets of like 8 or whatever anymore. But I mean, my chest is bigger,
Yeah, yeah,
everything
yeah.
bigger. I might not be as strong as what I like to, and how I used to train. So I love lifting heavy, but now I've just got a different perspective on it, and it's pushed me in the right direction. And I'm just a bit like I'm larger, I'm bigger, I've got all things happening for me now. So
And that's the thing. Like, as much as it's fun to kind of lift really heavy, like, you're not doing a powerlifting meet. Like, you're stepping on stage to show the physique that you've built. You don't always have to lift heavy to do that. And like, that's what amazed me when you told me that happened. Because like, you look at your physique and like, it doesn't look like you've had an injury. You look huge, and that's why like I've been really persistent on pushing and making sure people are seeing you. Because like, I'm excited to kind of you know like I think that you're definitely like a dark horse because I didn't like I said to me you're not someone that you're not like the main people like Mike, like Luke, like Louis, like all the big boys that have been competing for a while that everybody kind of knows. But I feel like you're going to come in there and kind of surprise a lot of people.
that's yeah. Like I'm really not good at the whole Instagram game. My wife always tells me, you have to post more. And then if I take photos at the gym, I'm like, well, I should upload this, and she's like, yeah, it looks so good. I'm like, I don't know, like I look shit or I look
Yeah.
fat. But yeah, she's always helping me push, try and get my name out and whatnot. But yeah, absolutely, I feel like I want to be one of those top guys. I know
Yeah.
that I can be, and I know that I will be. I just need more time.
Exactly. And just like the more that you kind of get on, and I think this is going to be that moment, like when you step on stage, we're going to see you be compared to everybody, and it's going to be that great opportunity to kind of, help you excel and get out there a bit more.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to it because this is going to be a pretty big like kind of a milestone, if you will, for me in terms of that. So yeah,
Yeah. And even just in general, like for the shows, like compared to like how the momentum that we had with season B last year, like it's just gonna follow over into season A and then season B this year. So like it's some of the best times to really compete to get out there because the caliber and athletes, and if you come out and knock out someone who's been competing for 3-4 years, like that's only gonna boost your credit, or however you want to label it even more.
exactly, man, exactly. Like I'm not too like obviously everyone who competes they always want to win, but I'm not really like yeah I want to win, but at the same time I just want to be better than what I am than
Yeah.
what I was last time, and then create something that I'm proud of and that I'm happy with. And I feel like I've already done that from my last show like 18 or 24 months ago. So it's already a win for me.
That's
But
good.
you know, you always want more. You always
But
want
I think
more.
that's important. I think if you focus on like, bringing the best package of yourself, beating your old self, that's actually what kind of helps you get that first, second, third. Because when you
That's true.
focus too much on what everyone else is doing and you're trying to copy a physique, you end up then doing yourself more harm because you're like, well, this person looks more lean than I do. And then you start comparing. So I think your head's in the right direction.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I don't tend to look at anybody else like in terms of like my in terms of like the category. I just
Yeah.
kind of focus on myself. Yeah, like I might show my wife like, oh look, have a look at this, or oh, he's got this, got that. But then she always reminds me of like, but have a look at what you have.
Yeah. Yeah. Your
And
wife sounds like a real one. Very supportive. Love that.
seriously, love yeah, she's
She's holding it down.
yeah, she's got me covered. She's got me
Yeah,
covered for
that's
sure.
awesome. We gotta love that. It's very, very, very important. In such a sport that can be so lonely, it's important to, whether it's a small circle or just one person who kind of helps you, be that rock and support you and hold you up when, things get tough.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like she's so supportive and helps me, especially with like my daughter now, like always helping me, trying to work around me and helping me prep, train, all these other things. I've really like I've been made aware how important that is, especially this prep than I was previous.
Yeah.
As well as like my sponsors too, like Sparta, they do like all of like the muscle work on me, like the deep choo and whatnot every week. So a
That's
shout out to
awesome.
those guys. They've been amazing, as well as Amino Z. They're like the supplement company that sponsor
Mhm.
me. Those guys are awesome. Creating really good products always fix me up. So yeah, like just like you said, like a small group of friends, and people that are always there to help is just so
Makes a
important.
lot of difference.
100%, yeah.
So kind of focusing now onto this prep, I guess what's been the biggest change that you've noticed? Maybe, whether that is, the birth of your child or outside of that, maybe physique wise or just how easy it's been compared to, I guess, the last time you prepped. Like how are you mentally feeling this time around?
Um, Good question. I guess it's the same with everybody and the same with all preps. Like you've got phases of you feel good, and then like in terms of feel good, like you feel like you're on track and whatnot, and then you go through phases of like I feel behind and whatnot, but then kind of snap back to like where you actually are and realize, oh, okay, everything's fine. It's all going to come into play. And if things don't, then you just make adjustments and um, off you go. So I feel like this prep's a lot harder in terms of like hunger and just trying to be like on point with everything in terms of like with work now and all the family things and whatnot. But it's the most enjoyable one that I've had so far. Like I valued more time with like my family,
Yeah.
friends. I value more time at work. I value my time at the gym now. Like everything seems more meaningful. So it's like a blessing in disguise, really.
Yeah. So like it's like even though you may be, I guess, struggling with finding that balance, but on the counterpart of that, you're having that gratitude for all the smaller
Yeah,
things because you're more present this prep and just
100%.
kind of going through the motions.
Yeah, exactly. And like that there are some days where like as with anything, like you really dragging on, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like I'm thankful that I can do this. I'm thankful that I've got my family, my friends, all the guys around me. I'm thankful that I can train, that I'm healthy, that I have my family. So that, that's all that matters to me.
Yeah. The most, I think it's important to, have your like house in order in that regard, like you're saying,
Yeah, 100%.
work out what you value the most and how you can align that with, your passion, your goals.
Exactly. 100%, man. 100%.
What, what, so have you, so you said you did in 2019, yes, you did New South Wales and Arnold. How did you go in that? Like, how was your placing and stuff like that?
So that was when I was doing classic, and I didn't really know my body. I didn't really know that my body wanted to grow. Kind of just
Yeah.
stuck myself. So I was basically like a string bean. because I'm tall, like I'm 6'1", so, and I was only what, 97 kilos on stage, like
Yeah,
that's not that big. So yeah, I think I can't remember the New South Wales show. I think I came fourth in that. I think that's when Nick Jones, I think, the owner of Gentech, won that.
yeah.
And I actually went to New Zealand and competed in the Pro AM with a bunch of mates back in the day. And I think I won my class, but just missed out on. No, sorry, I came second in my class and just missed out on the overall. So,
Okay.
um, but then yeah, so then from that that was when I decided to, all right, I'm not going to do classic. I just want to push. I want to push. I
Yeah,
want to.
yeah.
So the 2021 shows, that's when I did like the bodybuilding for the first time, and that. So in the NABA show, I placed first in class one, I think it was, which is like the super heavies, and then just missed out in the overall. But they've got some really big guys and really conditioned guys. Just they've got some freaks. They've got some
Yeah.
freaks over there. That's so yeah, and that just made me want to push more and just be more conditioned. I wasn't as conditioned as I probably should be. I'm probably around the same condition now than what I was when I competed back
Oh,
then.
okay. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so so I'm around the same weight or a little bit less than what I competed at last time. I've still got 5-6 weeks. So
So that you reckon that's kind of been the main focus, I guess, this prep is kind of really try and nail that conditioning to then,
yeah,
so you can make it to the overall.
yeah, exactly. I think the issue with my physique is that because I'm tall, like I'm heavy, but like my limbs are quite long, so I tend, if I go flat, which it's going to happen, and
Yeah.
I look I look like a string bean. So especially in my legs have always been somewhat of an issue. Just in terms of shape, they're very like boxy. They don't have much sweep at all. They've got like some shape, but I feel like from the side shots, I feel like I can match anyone,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even when they're flat. But when they're flat from the rear or the front, that's when I have some trouble. So
Okay.
yeah, that's just something that I just need to work on and like over the years and just progress really.
It's hard. It's hard, like what you're saying, being, a tall person, long limbs, and you not wanting to be flat and trying to find that perfect balance of like, hitting that peak properly where you can be full enough, but also stay in the perfect condition where you can go up to someone who maybe can look good flat. And so I guess like you're saying, it does take time. And now that you have a new coach that can help you with your diabetes and bounce things off, you may be able to find that perfect balance that may be able to help you bring that look that you've been kind of chasing.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Like the amount, like first thing in the morning when I wake up, like I look completely different than after a few meals, a whole bunch of water and some sodium. Like it's just ridiculous how much it changes with the insulin that I use and whatnot. Like it's like a completely different physique.
Yeah.
It'll be a really interesting if I nail it, which I'm sure I will. So I'm super excited to just to bring something that I'm proud of and um that everybody can see really.
Yeah, blow everybody away.
I hope so. Hope so.
What's what's been like your biggest, I guess, what on your improvement season from like this show and your last, what was kind of the biggest areas that you were kind of focusing on? Was it just to kind of get bigger in all areas? Because you've got to take in consideration the shoulder and recovery and all that. Was it kind
Um,
of to cover that or
the shoulder really didn't take too much of a hit in size, to be honest. It kind of just maintained where it was at. I didn't really do too much in terms of adding things to try and fix it. It just kind of healed pretty quickly. So I didn't really lose any size or anything like that. But for the priority for me has always been my legs. My legs have
yeah.
always, just because of the shape, like they're big, but my teardrop's very dominant, which you'll probably see like on show day. But just the sweep, I lack. So that's always been a thing for me, just trying to bring up my legs to not so much in size, but just the shape of them, which they both go on hand in hand. But reality, you're not going to be able to target the sweep. You just got to get your legs bigger. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
that's something that I remember. It's so funny that you say that. Like when you first start kind of bodybuilding, you always like really focused on like you think you can target so, like you can when you train, yes, you do target certain muscle areas, but like with your legs, you know, regardless of training your sweep, you're still going to train your teardrop. Like it's still that type of, you know, no matter what type of movement you do. So it is really just that thing of like, oh, we just got to bring up the whole leg, and then
Exactly.
hopefully you can create that flow.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what I feel like I've done a pretty good job since then, with everything that's happened and whatnot. And then the only other thing was my chest. That was kind of something that was lacking. But again, I think from the surgery, it all kind of helped me kind of understand, realize what I need to be doing and what I need to change to make those improvements. And it's definitely worked. Um, so especially for like my side chest, it's not as shallow. The upper chest is a lot larger, a lot more volumized. Front doublet, it's not so like shallow and
Yeah.
so much of a weak point anymore, I'd say. The only thing that I haven't that's improved, that hasn't really improved that much, is probably like my back thickness, the thickness, like my rectors and whatnot. That's always been a strong point for me, and I bring that down to just because of how I used to train.
Mm.
I used to just pick things off the ground, like just deadlift and barbell rows and just heavy, 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 and that's what's built kind of my uh, posterior. Um, I don't do so much of that stuff anymore with like Adam's training program, but yeah, just the quad, probably the quads and the chest of other two areas that are definitely.
Do you think that I guess the improvements in your chest has come about from maybe how Adam has programmed your training, or do you think it's like you're saying due to the shoulders and then having to take a different approach? Like, did you reduce the amount of volume you were doing? Was it more that you got rid of certain exercises that you were doing because you couldn't necessarily do them anymore because of the shoulder? What do you think kind of, I guess, helped make that biggest difference?
It was probably first of all, it was definitely the actual shoulder injury itself.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of stuff I couldn't do anymore. Like, I couldn't do any free weight stuff, which would always be a staple for me. So that was a no-go. And then I had to I had to relearn everything basically, just because I didn't have the stability, I didn't have the strength, I didn't have the confidence to put anything like on the shoulder
Hmm.
or on the chest, just because it felt so weak. So I had to relearn everything, and it took a while, but after like a kind of click flip, not like a light bulb moment, but it was a slow progression, and then that slowly got better. And then with Adam's approach, because I've always been a progressive overloader,
Yeah.
like uh, it hit style training, super low volume, train to failure, just like a logbook guy, basically.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
logbook. And I still do that now, but it's more just trying to be intense and just trying to perfect things, and not get caught up in the weight so much,
Yeah.
which I still do, and it's a bit of like a challenge for me, just because I just really really enjoy training heavy, but it's definitely working. So
No, that's good. That's good. I think like there's a good lesson in that in regards to sometimes, you know, we spend so long training a certain way, or we've kind of been shown, or we learn a certain way to train. And, you know, sometimes we want to kind of take a step back, but it can be really hard to kind of like reprogram that. And you were kind of almost like you're saying, forced into that position where you're like, no, fuck, I can't put weight on the bar. I can't do this. Okay, now I really got to reteach myself how to move. And then you kind of end up learning how to move in a manner that supports the growth of your chest better, or, you know, your biomechanics. So like it really is a blessing in disguise, like you said.
yeah, 100%. That's so true and spot on. I'm a very stubborn person, and it's 99% time it's my way or the highway. I don't like I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Having what happened previously, and it's helped me not only with training, bodybuilding, just other things in general, just me being more aware, or and wanting to try other ways of things, and just be more open-minded. I guess that's the whole kind of that's what I'm trying to get at. Just not being a closed-minded person,
Mm.
trying to be more open-minded, and taking things on board. Not that I have to do things that exact way, but just taking small things on, and creating something that I believe I create something that I believe from like a whole bunch of different
Yeah,
aspects.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like my own little ball, and not
And I think
just
that
one set. Yeah,
yeah, no, no, I 100% agree. I think it's so important, especially with a sport like bodybuilding and like, there's so many different ways to do things. There's so many different opinions. Like it's sometimes like almost a sensory overload, but you really gotta be open-minded to just kind of take everything in, filter it, and learn what works with your body. Because at the end of the day, we have one body, that's the body we're designed with, and we just got to learn about the different things that work, So five five people may say one thing and all those things may work, but then only one thing from the other dude works. So, just taking those little things and I kind of adapt it into like, I guess, your own style, like you're saying.
exactly. And I think just and also just going back on that, just because like of the training, because I am taller and my limbs are longer, you know, it has definitely helped me in terms of um emphasizing like certain body parts, just like my legs and my chest, because my limbs are longer, and training certain ways that to help me for those body parts. So,
Yeah.
spending more time in the hole for all of my squatting, for all my squat movements. Like I was never doing that before, but it's like a must now. Like that's that's like that's like the area for me now to
Yeah,
like,
help you grow.
yeah, exactly. So, like I said, everything happens for a reason. So I'm just super thankful to be here and to learn and just to improve, really.
Nah, that's awesome. Really good mentality to have in the sport. It's going to help you go a long way.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I know we're kind of short on time, so last
Yeah.
type of question I'm really intrigued about to kind of wrap things up. So I just wanted to kind of get here, what it's been like, being a type 1 diabetic and, being in bodybuilding. Like I really love, that you haven't allowed that to stop you to follow what your passion and follow what you're doing. So I guess, for people that maybe are that and are worried about competing, or even just like, how's your kind of experience in navigating all that been?
Look, like I don't know life without it. It is what it is. That's the card that I've been dealt in life, and you got one choice and you deal with it. So, I've got a whole bunch of other problems, with like my thyroid and blood pressure and all these other things. But like, why let it stop you? Like, use those things to your advantage. Um, like there's no reason for it to stop you. I see the diabetes as ways to help me improve. I sounds stupid, but one, I get my insulin. Like I don't need to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
I utilize that, like all these little things. Like you might not think how big or small they are, but like it is what it is. So utilize them, and you'll still get the progress, if not more. Um, because of the way that like it's just, it doesn't make sense to me when people say like they've got like something wrong, or like or whatever the case may be, and they say that like they can't, or they won't, or whatever. But like, why?
Mm.
Like,
It's kind of like
really,
it's kind of
why?
like turning, like looking at your situation, look at the cards you're being given, and then I guess things that we initially feel are negative, how can we turn them into positives? How can we turn them into, our favor? How can we mitigate them? How can we make them not a problem? And then, like you're
Exactly.
saying, like you utilize them to our favor to, progress in a manner.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a hard question because like I've had I've had it for so long, and I don't. It's a part of like my daily life. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's like to not have it. I don't know anything about not having it. So
Mm.
it's just like I'm. It's just like I'm like
It's just, yeah, second nature.
yeah, exactly. So like it's really hard for me to pinpoint, but I just, yeah, for anybody out there, just don't let it. Like if it's something that you really want to do, then just go all out and just do
Yeah.
it. There's no reason, there's no excuse. You know, just damn do it.
I think
You know
I
what I
think
mean?
maybe like finding that support like you did, finding that person that knows that you can at least bounce ideas off of, or someone who has the knowledge to, guide you in it if you get stuck. Because I guess, like, there's only so much you can know from a certain point of view when you experience it, or if it is you are wanting to participate in a sport, like you may not know how to translate that into the sport. So like finding someone that can do that for you.
Having someone there that knows what they're doing is really helpful. When I was earlier on, I was scared of eating carbs because of like diabetes
Yeah.
and the insulin I was using, and I was just so scared. So I would resort to my off seasons, which would just be I would increase my fats, and my fats would be at like 200 plus.
Fuck. That's wild.
No wonder why like it didn't work, but like, and my carbs would be at like 100, like because like I just didn't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All like a learning experience. And now looking at my last off season my last push up that I did, I was eating over 1,000 carbs a day. So like
Such a big change.
exactly, and it's just all about finding, yeah, exactly what you said, finding someone finding someone to have in your corner that knows and to help you guide yourself. And that yeah, that's really it, man. That's
No, that's really cool to hear, kind of that experience of like that fear of not having the correct knowledge and feeling like, oh, I have to not eat carbs. I have like super high fat, not making that progress. And then, like you're saying, to like jumping a few years, 3, 4, 5 years to like your last off season, and the complete opposite, and something that you were so afraid of because of your diabetes, like doesn't even really matter.
exactly 100%, man.
So
And
cool.
yeah, exactly. It's just all learning experience. And if like it's the same thing, I take it with anything in life. If I say that, oh, I know it all, then I know I've stuffed up.
Yeah,
Which my wife will probably say that I say that a lot, but I swear.
yeah.
But yeah, like always wanting to learn, always trying to like adopt new things, and for the end goal of trying to be better.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think, it's an important way to live your life. Like you should always want to be a student, never want to be a master. Because I think once you think you're a master, you kind of
It's like you get
you
slack off.
stop yourself. Like you kind of fuck yourself over in some regard because then you think you can't learn anymore, and then you're actually limiting yourself.
Exactly. Spot on, man. Spot.
Well, thank you so much, man, for joining me. It's been a pleasure. I'm really, really excited to see you at nationals, and I'm
Man, thank
excited for your state show and see how you go, and for everyone to kind of see you. So
no,
hope
thanks.
hope keeps going well.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. It's great for you to have me on, and sharing my story and all of my photos. So no, thank you again. I really
It
do
was a real
appreciate it.
pleasure, man. Have a good rest of the day, bro.
All right, man. Enjoy. See you,
See
bro.
ya.
Thanks, man. Bye.